Well, it was a very interesting day for Friday because after a 200-point kind of a downtick for the index, we managed to close back on the upside by 200 plus points for the Nifty. Now, there are a lot many things which have happened on Friday. For example, right from the start, where the advance decline ratio was almost like 1 is to 4, on the NAC, towards a point when the advance decline ratio closed at 1 is to 2. It indicated that the market breadth was still on the downside, but the move, which was seen onto the indices was purely made by large cap names, and we saw a very stellar recovery across so many large cap stocks and more of the underperforming names. Historically, we've seen that whenever the index gets into such kind of a sharp, aberration phase where it goes into a sharp correction and then a V-shaped recovery, there are sectoral themes and patterns, which starts to change. For example, over the last, few weeks, we've seen IT, we've seen banking index, and we've seen the high beta sectors making a comeback. Now could be a time potentially where I would believe that maybe the underperforming stocks and sectors could make a comeback for themselves, and that's what I would probably believe could be the pattern going forward. And also the other hand, we've seen the Nifty and the Bank Nifty coming back towards a 8 to 9 week, a fresh weekly closing high. So that indicates that the strength still remains with the bullish side. It's just that volatility which happened on Friday indicated that the bottom for the index has moved up higher from 24,000 to 24,200. So the bias remains extremely positive, and I think today's downtick of 50 plus points should be taken as a buying opportunity.
Nooresh, Friday's price action in isolation, very interesting, but is it now making decks clear for markets to roar up to a new high?
So I would take it as a one-day action and watch out this week because we saw similar action Thursday before that when it was a Nifty expiry. We saw a similar 500-point recovery from the lows. And for the next 5 sessions, there was hardly any trading range. So if you look at Friday move, very similar. We saw a downtake and then we saw a strong recovery, almost 500 points from the lows. So if we see follow-up today and we sustain about 24,850, then we call it as a trend change momentum move, wherein we go towards 25,200 to 25,400 also. But a new high seems difficult purely for the fact that some of the heavyweights, say Reliance, which is the second largest weight, is still not making a strong comeback, and that remains to be 8 to 10% of the index. Then you have a lot of auto sector names which have not made a strong recovery. So it's tough to get a new high with 30 to 50% of the weights doing well. So overall, it could be more stock specific going forward. But for now, watching out for 24,850 to sustain.